Hello friends, welcome to Premier UPSC IAS. So continuing with the economy lectures. So today we are going to cover the multi-level planning of the Indian planning system of the economy in India. Okay, moving forward, multi-level planning. First strata, the central level planning. At this level, three types of central plans had evolved over the years. The first year plans, the 20-point programs, and the MP land scheme. Second strata, the state level planning. By 1960s, many states had put in place their own state-level planning bodies, with the respective CMs being their de facto chairman. Even the state plans too has a term of 5 years, and they run parallel to the concerned 5-year plans of the center. Third strata, the district level planning. By the late 1960s, there were district planning boards in all districts of a state, with the respective district magistrates being their de facto chairman. These are implemented via bodies like municipalities or corporations in the urban areas and the panchayats Raj institutions via the blocks in the rural areas. Fourth strata, the block level planning. The block level planning came up as a part of the district level planning, and it had the district planning boards as the nodal body of planning. Below the blocks, India developed the planning at the local level too. Fifth strata, the local level planning. By the early 1980s, plans were being implemented at the local level via the blocks and had the district planning boards as the nodal agencies. Local level planning in India developed with its three variants due to the socio-economic differentiations among the population. Variants are 1. Village level planning, 2. Hill area planning, 3. The tribal area planning. Basically, this was started to promote the process of decentralized planning in the country. It was the Indian version of democratic planning, which ultimately sought to guarantee the people's participation in the process of planning. The changing role and nature of planning. Due to the inclusion of the new methods and strategies of planning, it has led to the changes in very nature, role, and the scope of the planning in the country. 10th plan set the platform for taking up many first time initiatives. 10th plan imaginatively forges ahead towards new goals as the plan projections in India hitherto talked only about the development in the recognized sectors. The new measures initiated by the 10th plan led to numerous changes in planning process, and they are as follows. 1. The role of state in the plan development to make the 10th plan a people's plan and to make the development a people's movement. The Deputy Chairman Planning Commission articulated on the occasion that people's say in plan is a must. The Chairman Planning Commission emphasized that only economic growth should not be our objective, but improvement in the quality of the life of the masses should be the real goal of planned development. He further added that people's participation in the planning process is a must to make development a mass movement and helpful to all. This idea continued in the 11th plan and proposes the 12th plan. 2. Agriculture sector accepted as the driving force of the economy. The union budgets of 2001 and 2001-2 clearly referred the proposition. It was the 10th plan which clearly accepted the agriculture sector as the prime moving force of the economy. Plan further adds that by prioritizing agriculture in place of industry, the economy will be able to solve three major problems which have been ailing the economy. One, with the increase in the agricultural production, the economy will have food security. Two, emphasis on agriculture will give a great thrust to employment generation, as 92% of the employment is today generated by the unorganized sector, with agriculture being the biggest. And purchasing power of the masses will increase, which will reverse the long standing situation of the market failure in the economy. It means by emphasizing upon the agricultural sector, the economy will be able to boost its income from the industries. Accepting agriculture as the core element of the economy, plan suggested key reforms which are at their various stages of implementations. 1. Elimination of interstate barriers of trade and commerce, encouraging contract farming, permitting leasing in and leasing out of agriculture lands, need to amend the Essential Commodities Act, liberalizing agri-industry, agri-trade and exports, replacement of various acts concerning food by one comprehensive food act permitting future trading in all commodities, removal of restrictions on financing of stocking and trading. 3. Governance recognized among the most important factors of development. The issue of the governor was raised in the Planning Commission. The government also did set up an empowered committee on the matter which advised a list of reforms, improved people's participation through PRIs, increased involvement of civil society and the NGOs, civil service reforms for improving transparency, accountability, and efficiency, security of tenure for the civil servants with more equitable system of rewards and punishments, etc. After the World Bank report on good governance in the mid 1990s, the government has been trying to sensitize the issue. Finally, it was the 10th plan which accepted the immediate need for good governance. 4. New steps of economic reforms to be taken by the state. 5. Monitorable targets of development set for the first time. 1. Poverty reduction. 2. Population growth rate. 3. Growth in gainful employment. 4. Schooling. 5. Literacy. 6. Infant mortality rate. 7. Maternal mortality rate. 8. Potable water. 9. Reducing gender gaps. 10. Forest cover. And 11. Depolluting the water bodies. Monitorable targets set by the 12th plan. The 12th plan from 2012 to 17 has set 25 monitorable targets in seven broad areas, reflecting it is India's vision of rapid, sustainable, and more inclusive growth. Economic growth, real GDP growth rate of 8%, agricultural growth rate of 4%, manufacturing growth rate of 10%. Every state must have an average growth rate in the 12th plan, preferably higher than that achieved in the 11th plan. Poverty and employment, headcount ratio of consumption poverty to be reduced by 10 percentage points over the preceding estimates by the end of 12th five-year plan. 6. Generate 5 crore new work opportunities in the non-farm sector and provide skill certification to equivalent numbers during the 12th five-year plan. Education. Mean years of schooling to increase to 7 years by the end of 12th five-year plan. Enhance access to higher education by creating 2 million additional seats for each age cohort aligned to the skill needs of the economy. Eliminate gender and social gap in school enrollment, that is between girls and boys and between SCs, STs, Muslims and the rest of the population by the end of the 12th five-year plan. Eliminate gender and social gap in school enrollment, that is between girls and boys and between SCs, STs, Muslims and the rest of the population by the end of 12th five-year plan. Health. Reduce the infant mortality rate to 25 and maternal mortality rate to 1 per thousand live births and improve the child sex ratio 0 to 6 years to 950 by the end of the 12th five-year plan. Reduce the total fertility rate to 2.1 by the end of 12th five-year plan. Reduce undernutrition among children aged 0 to 3 years to half of the NFHS 3 levels by the end of 12th five-year plan. Infrastructure, including rural infrastructure. Increase investment infrastructure as a percentage of GDP to 9% by the end of 12th five-year plan. Increase the gross irrigated area from 90 million hectare to 103 million hectare by the end of 12th five-year plan. Provide electricity to all villages and reduce AT&C losses to 20% by the end of 12th five-year plan. Connect all villages with all weather roads by the end of 12th five-year plan. Upgrade national and state highways to the minimum two-lane standard by the end of 12th five-year plan. Complete eastern and western dedicated freight corridors. Increase rural tele-density to 70%. Ensure the 50% of the rural population has access to 40% piped drinking water supply and 50% gram panchayats achieve Nirmal Gram status by the end of the 12th five-year plan. Environment and sustainability. Increase green cover by 1 million hectare every year. Add 30,000 megawatts of renewable energy capacity. Reduce emission intensity of GDP in line with the target of 20% to 25% of reduction over 2005 levels by 2020. Service delivery. Provide access to banking services to 90% Indian households by the end of the 12th five-year plan. Major subsidies and welfare-related beneficiary payments to be shifted to a direct cash transfer by the end of the 12th plan using the Aadhaar platform with linked bank accounts. Differential development strategy adopted. Under this strategy, separate state-wise growth and other monitorable targets were worked out by the Planning Commission for the states with their consultation so that states can focus on their development plans. The developmental funds to the states and the central loans to them now accrue subject to their performance concerning the monitorable targets set for the states to which they agreed. Monitoring the progress of various central ministries, the Planning Commission has really emerged as a super cabinet in this way. Relevance of planning to economic reforms. Reforming the planning process. A critical evaluation on 5-year plans. 1. Lack of perspective in planning. 2. Failure in promoting a balanced growth and development. 3. Highly centralized nature of planning. 4. Lopsided employment strategy. 5. Excessive emphasis on the PSUs. 6. Agriculture overshadowed by the industry. 7. Faulty industrial location policy. 8. Wrong financial strategy. 9. Politicization of the planning process. Niti Aayog. The National Institution for Transforming India, also called Niti Aayog, was formed via a resolution of the Union Cabinet on January 1, 2015. Niti Aayog is the premier policy think tank of the Government of India, providing both directional and policy inputs. While designing strategic and long-term policies and programs for the Government of India, Niti Aayog also provides relevant technical advice to the center and states. The Government of India, in keeping with its reform agenda, constituted the Niti Aayog to replace the Planning Commission instituted in 1950. Composition of Niti Aayog: Chairperson, Prime Minister; Governing Council, Chief Ministers and Lieutenant Governors; Regional Council, formed on need basis, consists of CMs and Lieutenant Governors of the region; members, full-time basis; part-time members, maximum 2 rotational from relevant institutions; ex officio members, maximum 4 from the Council of Ministers nominated by PM; special invitees, experts, specialists, practitioners with domain knowledge; chief executive officer appointed by the PM for fixed tenure, secretary rank, and secretariat as deemed necessary. This was done in order to better serve the needs and aspirations of the people of India. An important evolutionary change from the past, Niti Aayog acts as a quintessential platform of the Government of India to bring states to act together in national interest and thereby fosters the cooperative federalism. At the core of the Niti Aayog's creation are two hubs, Team India Hub and the Knowledge and Innovation Hub. They reflect the two key tasks of the Aayog. The Team India Hub leads the engagement of states with the central government, while the Knowledge and Innovation Hub builds Niti's think tank capabilities. Niti Aayog is also developing itself as a state-of-the-art resource center with necessary resources, knowledge, and skills that will enable it to act with speed, promote research and innovation, provide strategic policy vision for the government, and deal with contingent issues. Functions of Niti Aayog. Niti Aayog is based on 7 pillars of effective governance. 1. Pro-people. 2. Proactivity. 3. Participation. 4. Empowering. 5. Inclusion of all. 6. Equality. 7. Transparency. Niti Aayog specialized wings: 1. Research wing; 2. Consultancy wing; 3. Team India wing. Difference between Niti Aayog and Planning Commission. 1. Organization. Planning Commission consisted of Deputy Chairman, a member, Secretary, and full-time members. Niti Aayog creation of two new posts: CEO having the rank of Secretary and Vice Chairperson. Niti also has 5 full-time members and 2 part-time members. Planning. Planning Commission adopted top-down planning methods for government with public sector resources. Niti Aayog is tasked with formulating national development strategy in market economy integrated with the globalized world. Relation with the states. The Planning Commission as an institution of union government, whereas the Niti Aayog aims to promote the cooperative federalism. Finance. Planning Commission greatly reduced the role of Finance Commission. Niti Aayog doesn't have any role regarding the allocation of funds. Constitutional reporting. Planning Commission is reported to NDC, which consists of chief ministers of all states and lieutenant governments of UTs. Niti Aayog, its governing council consists of chief ministers of all states, including Delhi and Puducherry, and lieutenant governments of the UTs. Central sector and centrally sponsored schemes. Central sector and centrally sponsored schemes. In India's developmental plan exercise, we have two types of schemes: central sector and centrally sponsored scheme. The nomenclature is derived from the pattern of funding and the modality of implementation. Under central sector schemes, it is 100% funded by the union government and implemented by the central government machinery. Central sector schemes are formulated mainly on the subjects enlisted in the union list. In addition, the central ministries also implement some schemes directly in states or UTs, which are called central sector schemes, but resources under these schemes are not generally transferred to states. Under centrally sponsored scheme, a certain percentage of the funding is borne by the states in the ratio of 50-50, 70-30, 75-25, 90-10, and the implementation is by the state governments. Centrally sponsored schemes are formulated in subjects from the state list to encourage states to prioritize in areas that require more attention. Funds are routed either through the consolidated fund of states and or transferred directly to state or the district level autonomous bodies or implementing agencies. As per the Bijal Committee report April 1987, the centrally sponsored schemes have been defined as the schemes which are funded directly by the central ministries, departments and implemented by the states or the agencies irrespective of their pattern of financing unless they fall under the center's sphere of responsibility, that is the union list. Conceptually, both additional central assistance schemes and centrally sponsored schemes have been passed on by the central government to the state governments. 14th Financial Commission. 14th Finance Commission. The report of the 14th Finance Commission, chaired by Y.V. Reddy, was tabled in Parliament on February 24, 2015. The Finance Commission is a constitutional body that is formed once in 5 years and provides recommendations on central state financial relations. Recommendations of the 14th Commission include devolution of taxes to states. It recommended to increase the share of taxes of the center to states from 32% to 42%. Additional budgetary needs of the states will be filled by grants in aid to the states. Weights of indicators for share in taxes: 97 population 17.5%, 2011 population 10%, area 2% for smaller states, 15% for general wheat, forest cover 7.5%, and income distance 50%. Fiscal deficit. Fiscal deficit of states should be aimed at 3% of the gross state domestic product during the period of 2015 to 2020. Compensation to states for GST and autonomous and independent goods and services tax. Compensation fund is to be set up in order to facilitate the compensation to the states. 100% compensation should be paid to states in the first 3 years, 75% compensation for the fourth year, and 50% compensation to be paid in the fifth year. Grants to the local government should be given. Grants to local government should be in two parts: a basic grant and a performance grant. For Gram Panchayats, 90% of the share will be basic grants and 10% will be performance grants. For municipalities, basic grants and performance grants will constitute 80% and 20% of the total grants, respectively. Performance grants are proposed to be introduced with a view to 1. Encourage the maintenance of the state's receipts and expenditure accounts, and 2. Bring about an increase in the state's own revenues. Amendments to the FRBM Act. The FRBM Act 2003 should be amended to remove the definition of effective revenue. It recommended creation of an independent fiscal council to evaluate the fiscal policy implications of budget proposals before the budget is announced. States are advised to amend their FRBM acts in a similar manner. Alternatively, the FRBM Act may be replaced with a debt ceiling and fiscal responsibility legislation in order to bring greater legitimacy to fiscal management.